morning, everybody. I don't know if you guys met him yesterday, but this is Joe. Joe is the cat, and he says hi to everybody. Right, Joe? He's sitting there looking at you guys. What am I doing here? I just want to take a nap. I'm getting irritated. You guys are here with me all day. Right, Joe? He's a good cat. Right, Joe? Yeah. All right, let him go. All right. So anyways, today is Tuesday, March 24th. I actually just said to my wife, today's Wednesday, right? But anyways, I'm losing track of days. I don't know if you guys are or not, but I certainly am. But it is Tuesday, March 24th. Hard to believe we've been out of school pretty much for almost 2 weeks. We were talking about this, my wife and I and some other people this morning. We were talking about, never would have thought that when we dismissed you guys on that Wednesday, we had McTeacher's night that night, and some of you guys I saw, and then the rest I haven't seen since then. And I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is practicing social distancing. I was on a call this morning with some of the guys I normally meet with on Tuesday mornings, and it doesn't really hit home until you hear your friends say that they've got loved ones. I have a good friend of mine that I've known for a long time. His wife has it's called Crohn's disease, and you have to be really careful what you eat. She has not left the house for 2 weeks. It's that serious. And then I've got another person whose wife also has some health issues, and she's been staying home, and the whole family's been practicing social distancing. And you may see like, well, I'm not affected by it, or I don't know anybody. Well, a lot of people do, and I think that we all need to come together during this time and try to keep everybody healthy. But anyways, enough of my lecturing. I'm not a doctor. We're starting a new book today. It's called Bud, not Buddy. It's one of my favorite books. It's about a 10-year-old boy during the Great Depression who makes a journey to try to find his father, who he's never met. It's one of my favorite stories, and it's pretty long. So this is going out to 4th and 5th grade today. I'll be sending this to Miss Rodriguez and Miss Grykowski's classes. And if you guys want to share it with other people, feel free to do so. I got my baseball jersey on today. We'll go ahead and talk about this. Oh, also to Miss KJ's class as well. All right, so this is called Bud, Not Buddy, Chapter 1. Here we go again. We were all standing in line waiting for breakfast when one of the caseworkers came in and tap, tap, tap down the line. Uh-oh. This meant bad news. Either they'd found a foster home for somebody, or somebody was about to get paddled. All the kids watched the woman as she moved along the line, her high-heeled shoes sounding like little firecrackers going off on the wooden floor. Shoot! She stopped at me and said, "Are you Buddy Caldwell?" I said, "It's Bud, not Buddy, ma'am." She put her hand on my shoulder and took me out of line. Then she pulled Jerry, one of the littler boys, over. "Aren't you Jerry Clark?" He nodded. "Boys, good news. Now that the school year has ended, you both have been accepted in new temporary care homes starting this afternoon." Jerry asked the same thing I was thinking. Together? She said, "Well, I know, Jerry. You'll be in a family with 3 little girls." Jerry looked like he just found out they were going to dip him in a pot of boiling milk. "And Bud," she looked at some paper she was holding. "Oh, yes, the Amoses. You'll be with Mr. and Mrs. Amos and their son, who's 12 years old. That makes him just 2 years older than you, doesn't it, Bud?" "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I'm sure you'll both be very happy." Me and Jerry looked at each other. The woman said, Now, boys, no need to look so glum. I know you don't understand what it means, but there's a depression going on all over this country. People can't find jobs, and these are very, very difficult times for everybody. We've been lucky enough to find 2 wonderful families who've opened their doors for you. I think it's best that we show our new foster families that we're very..." She dragged out the word very, waiting for us to finish her sentence for her. Jerry said, "Cheerful, helpful, and grateful." I moved my lips and I mumbled. She smiled and said, "Unfortunately, you won't have time for breakfast. I'll have a couple pieces of fruit put in a bag. In the meantime, go to the sleep room and strip your beds and gather all of your things." Here we go again. I felt like I was walking in my sleep as I followed Jerry back to the room where all the boys' beds were jam-jammed together. This was the 3rd foster home I was going to, and I'm used to packing up and leaving. But it still surprises me that there are always a few seconds, right after they tell you you've got to go, when my nose gets all runny, and my throat gets all choky, and my eyes get all stingy. But the tears coming out doesn't happen to me anymore. I don't know when it first happened, but it seems like my eyes don't cry no more. Jerry sat on his bed, and I could tell that he was losing the fight to not cry. Tears were popping out of his eyes and slipping down his cheeks. I sat down next to him and said, "I know being in a house with 3 girls sounds terrible, Jerry, but it's a lot better than being with a boy who's a couple years older than you. I'm the one who's going to have problems. An older boy is going to want to fight. But those little girls are going to treat you real good. They're going to treat you like some kind of special pet or something." Jerry said, "You really think so?" I said, "I'll trade you in a minute. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is they're going to probably make you play house a lot. They'll probably make you be the baby, and will hug you and do this kind of junk to you." I tickled Jerry under his chin and said, "Gaga goo goo, baby wavy." Jerry couldn't help but smile, and I said, "You're going to be great." Jerry looked like he wasn't so scared anymore, so I went over to my bed and started getting ready. Even though it was me who was in a lot of trouble, I couldn't help but feel sorry for Jerry, not only because he was going to have to live around 3 girls, because also being 6 is a real rough age to be at. Most folks think you start to be a real adult when you're 15 or 16, but that's not true. It really starts when you're around 6. It's at 6 that grown folks don't think you're a cute little kid anymore. They talk to you and expect that you understand everything they mean. And you best understand too. If you aren't looking for some real trouble because it's around 6, that grown folks stop giving you little swats and taps and jump clean up to giving you slugs. They'll knock you right down and have you seeing stars in the middle of the day. The first foster home I was in taught me that real quick. 6 is a bad time too, because that's when some real scary things start to happen to your body. It's around then that your teeth start coming loose in your mouth. You wake up one morning and it seems like your tongue is the first one to notice that something strange is going on. Because as soon as you get up from there, it is pushing and rubbing against one of your front teeth, and I'll be doggone if that tooth isn't the least bit wiggly. At first you think it's kind of funny, but the tooth keeps getting looser and looser, and one day, in the middle of pushing the tooth back and forth and squinching your eyes shut, you pull it clean out. It's the scariest thing you can think of because you lose control of your tongue at the same time, and no matter how hard you try to stop it, it won't leave the new hole in your mouth alone. It keeps digging around in the spot where that tooth used to be. You tell some adult about what's happening, but all they do is say it's normal. You can't be too sure though, because it shakes you up a whole lot more than grown folks think it does when perfectly good parts of your body commence to loosening up and falling off of you. Unless you're as stupid as a lamppost, you've got to wonder what's coming off next. Your arm, chopping off your arm. Your leg, your neck. Every morning when you wake up, it seems a lot of your parts aren't stuck on as good as they used to be. But it is real tough. That's how old I was when I came to live here in the home. That's how old I was when Mama died. I folded the blanket and sheet and set them back on the mattress. Then I reached under the bed to get my suitcase. Most of the kids in the home keep their things in a paper or cloth sack, but not me. I had my own suitcase. I set it on the mattress and untied the twine that held it together. I did what I do every night before I go to sleep. I checked to make sure everything was there. The way there are more and more kids coming to the house every day, I had to make sure no one had run off with any of my things. First, I pulled my blanket out and saw that everything was where it was supposed to be. At the bottom of my suitcase were the flyers. I took the blue flyer out and looked at it again. The paper was starting to wear out for me looking at it so much, but I liked checking to see if there was anything I hadn't noticed before. It was like somebody was telling me there was a message for me on this flyer, but I didn't have the decoder ring to read what it was. Across the top of the flyer, written big black letters, were the words "limited engagement." Then in little letters, it said "direct from an SRO engagement, standing room only." That's what that means, engagement in New York City. Underneath that, in big letters, again, it said Herman E. Calloway and the Dusky Devastators of the Depression. Those 6 exclamation points made it seem like this was the most important news anyone could think of. Seems like you'd have to be really great to deserve all those exclamation points all stacked up in a row like that. Next, the paper said, "Masters of the New Jazz." Then in the middle of the flyer was a blurry picture of the man I have a real good suspicion about. I've never met him, but I have a pretty good feeling that this guy must be my father. In the picture, he's standing next to a giant fiddle that's taller than him. It looks like it's real heavy because he's leaning up against it trying to hold it up. He looks like he's been doing this for a long time. And he must be tired because he has a droopy, dreamy look on his face. There are 2 men beside him, one playing drums and the other one blowing a horn. It wasn't hard to see what the guy must be. It wasn't hard to see what the guy who must be my father was like just by looking at his picture. You could tell that he was a real quiet, real friendly and smart man. He had one of those kinds of faces. Underneath the picture, someone had written with a black fountain pen, "One night, only in Flint, Michigan, at the luxurious 50 Grand on Saturday, June 16th, 1932. 9 until question mark." I remember Mama bringing this flyer home with her when she came from working one day. I remember because she got very upset when she put it on the supper table and kept looking at it and picking it up and putting it back and moving it around. I was only 6 then and couldn't understand why this one got her so upset. She kept 4 others that were a lot like it in her dressing table, but this one really got her jumpy. The only difference I could see between the blue one and the others was that the others didn't say anything about Flint on them. I remember this blue one too because it wasn't too long after she brought it home that I knocked on Mama's bedroom door. Then found her. I put the blue flyer back in the suitcase with the 4 older ones and put everything back in its place. I went over to the big chest of drawers and took my other set of clothes out and put them in the suitcase too. I tied the twine back around my bag, then went and sat on Jerry's bed with him. Jerry must have been thinking just as hard because neither one of us said nothing. We just sat close enough so that our shoulders were touching. Here we go again. All right, boys and girls, that's the end of chapter 1. We'll pick this up back tomorrow. In case you guys want to look at the cover, it's Bud, obviously right there. And I want you to think about why, it's not the first time, but I really want you to think about why he likes to call himself, when an adult calls him Buddy, he likes to say, "It's Bud, ma'am," or "Bud, sir." Okay, so that's kind of it's kind of an ongoing theme in the book, if you will. Anyways, okay, so I've got a Twins jersey on today. So your job, and you don't need to turn this in, if my class wants to turn it into Google Docs or email me or do a Google slideshow with it, feel free to do so. But this team is called the Twins. And I want you to tell me what city, what state they play in, what's the name of their stadium, and anything that's really cool. For example, they've got a really cool tourist attraction up in the area of the city they play in. And I want you to tell me what that is and why their name is the Twins, okay? And then you're going to find that really interesting. So anyways, this was one of my favorite jerseys. I really love the colors. This player actually won the Cy Young. He was the best pitcher. Cy Young is an award that goes to the best pitcher in Major League Baseball that year. And I think this is from 2005, actually. So it's quite an old jersey. It's 15 years old. It's one of the first jerseys I ever got. As you can tell, I'm a big baseball fan. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing good. We'll pick up chapter 2 tomorrow. And I will talk to you guys soon. I hope everybody's doing well. I love all of you guys. And I've been thinking about you guys. And I hope you guys are doing the homework. I will be correcting that later tonight. Mrs. Chen is working from home. But today we're going to make a little field trip to the office. She's the only one in the office. So I will be going there and doing some stuff there. So it's just the 2 of us. And I hope everybody's doing well. Please listen to your parents. Please be safe. Wash your hands. Do your work. Don't cause too much trouble for everybody. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.